Well, howdy, folks. This is my first attempt at a video. My name's Tim Eaton. Live in Manchester, Tennessee, and just thought I might share a little bit of my collection. I've gotten some records in the recent days and thought I would do a little video. I have to say my inspiration for this was Scott Waters from No Life Till Metal. I get a kick out of seeing all his videos and seeing all the goodies that he gets. And let's see, I've been collecting music since mid to late 80s. Sporadically got a little bit of music here and there. I remember taping music off the radio. But when CDs came around, it's around 1988, when they were on my radar, I just opened the floodgates, and you can see in the background a wall of CDs there. That's probably maybe an eighth of the CDs that I have. And records, probably got back into those about 15 years ago. So even before the big resurge of records, I was already buying records online, a lot of doom metal, heavy metal stuff, and then it just kind of went from there. And now I pretty much listen to just about every genre of music you can think of, but hard rock and metal definitely probably the biggest ones, that the ones that I listen to the most. So like I said, just have a few things I wanted to share out. Hopefully the music's not too loud in the background. Be curious to see if anybody can name the band that's playing. You'll probably, those of you that are prog fans, you're into Rush, you'll definitely hear some similarities there, but it is not Rush. So without any further ado, I'll get to some 45s that I just got recently. I got them all from a seller here in the United States, but I think every one that I'm going to share in this small pile is from overseas, except for one. Let's start with this one, and it's pretty obvious where this one's from because there's a little sticker on the front that says "Made in England." The band Vixen. This is a single from their second LP. And what drew me to this one, out of I probably have maybe over 100 7-inches. I have not had a single 7-inch with an injection label. So there were a few in this collection that had that, and so I can now say that I have a few 7-inches with injection labels. And this one has 2 tracks: Love is a Killer, which is an edit, and Streets in Paradise. And something else that was interesting, there was a sticker label on the back, and it has a name. I believe it's from EMI, the label, and it's got a phone number on there. And it says, following their recent sellout UK tour, Vixen released the second single from their top 20 album, Rev It Up, on 8.10.90. After shooting the video at Crystal Palace, the girls flew back to the US to begin a major tour. So I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if that sticker wound up on all of the singles, but that may make this a little rarer than the other ones. I don't know. Another one I picked up from a band that I've heard of before, but I'm not familiar with any of their music, Jagged Edge. And this one's got a promo sticker on it, and apparently they were on tour with Vixen. Not sure if that was the same tour that they were referencing on the other 7-inch that I just shared. And this one also, you can see another injection label. And the 2 tracks are You Don't Love Me and All Through the Night. Both, I believe, are taken from their album Fuel for Your Soul, which I may have to track down their full length, depending on what I think of the 2 tracks there. Whitesnake. Been a pretty big Whitesnake fan since the 80s. Kind of got into them during their hair metal, 80s sound, but I love their hard rock stuff. I've got all their stuff on CD and slowly been picking stuff up on record. This one here is from the self-titled Whitesnake album, little white vinyl, and also made in England. And the tracks are Give Me All Your Love, which is an edit, and then Fool for Your Lovin'. And up in the corner it says Special Edition 7-inch in white vinyl. Not sure the number pressed on this one, but thought it was a cool little 7-inch rarity. This one was new on my radar. I am familiar with the movie that it came from. It is a David Coverdale song from Days of Thunder, starring Tom Cruise. I had no idea that there was any hard rock bands that of interest to me from that soundtrack. I have to go back and watch the movie again, but this is also from England, and it is the song The Last Note of Freedom, produced by Trevor Horn. And then the B-side is Hans Zimmer, who I've heard his name before. I know he's done a lot of, I believe, soundtrack music. And so just a cool single. I know that there is a full length for the soundtrack. Actually, I have a friend who just recently sold it online. And this one folds out. Hold it up in the distance here. Folds out to a poster of Mr. David. And then on the back you have some, I guess, cars, race cars. And thought that was cool. Never seen that one before. Gotta look forward to listening to that track. The next one is the one that is a UK release. This one does not have a picture sleeve. It is actually a jukebox 7-inch. Looks brand new. I don't know that anybody's ever played it. I don't know if anybody would have played this when it was on the jukebox. It is Poison, but probably not from their more popular days. I do love this album. This was, let's see, it is the song Stand and Until You Suffer Some Fire and Ice from, trying to remember the name of the album, Native, I'm going to have to cheat here, Native Tongue, which I've not been able to track that one down on record. I do have their greatest hits record, and I believe Stan showed up on that one. It was a two record set. But Until You Suffer Some Fire and Ice, which I thought was a great song. Finally got that one on vinyl, and it is clear transparent blue, which makes it that much cooler. And I wish there was a sleeve to it, but seeing how it's a jukebox release, I realized that was not going to happen. Next one, a band that just released that they were going to be doing a tour. I believe they're starting in Japan and then probably Europe, and I believe next year they're going to be hitting the States. I would love to see this band for the first time, and that is Mr. Big. And this one comes, I believe, from their second full-length album. This single is the Green Tinted 60s Mind. Pretty cool song. Kind of has a 70s feel to it. And on the B-side is Shadows, which I believe is a cover. Not sure who originally did that track, but I don't have it on any of the CDs I have, so that's kind of a cool thing. And this says special DJ edit. So the song, obviously, that would have been the one that we would have heard on the radio if that song had been played during the 90s on radio. I believe 91 was the release. Okay, out of those ones that I showed, I believe those were all from the UK except for the Poison. This one was pressed in France, but I believe it was sold in England, or maybe sold in multiple countries there. And this is Extreme from their third album, and the song is Stop the World. This one is also, I believe, the third Injection label 7-inch that I got. And once again, another cool aspect of this one is that it has a B-side that is not, as far as I know, not on any of their regular full-length releases. It is Christmas Time Again, something I've not heard before. I don't know if it's available anywhere else. So that was one of the great things about picking up 7-inch singles. There was a good chance you were going to get something that you wouldn't get on their normal releases. So typically, if I'm going to grab one, I'm looking for one that I can hear something I haven't heard before, even if it's an edit or a remix or an extended version. Always makes it that much better. Now, the next two that I'm going to show are re-releases, new wave of British heavy metal, something I'm always looking for, especially from some of the more obscure bands. I don't want to pay $100 for a well-used 7-inch single. There's a lot of great new wave of British heavy metal bands. I'd love to have some of the originals, maybe just as a keepsake, not to play. But these are the ones that are going to hit the record player. And these next two I got recently. This band, Mirror Metal, I know of them. I know that there was maybe 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, there were some releases titled 1 and 2 that I believe were just live shows from the band. Not really familiar with their music, but I know this was their original single. English Booze is the title of the first track, and then second one is Rock and Roll Ain't Never Gonna Leave Us. Same cover from the original. I believe this is a limited edition. I don't remember how many. I'm thinking 500. I could be off on that. There's no numbering on this. I have not cracked it open yet. Just got it a few days ago, but we'll give that one a listen soon. It does have a hype sticker on it for Record Store Day. Loud and heavy metal punk from Job Center Reject series. Limited edition, highly collectible, remastered sound. So, cool. Love it. The next one I'm going to show is a band that I am familiar with at least one of their songs. I've got an MP3 of it on my computer. I've been aware of them for well over 15 years, but once again, not going to pay the price for an original copy. Saw this online recently. I had no idea that it had been re-released. It was re-released both in black and a smaller number on color, and this is Double B-Side by Ricochet. It cover is a remake of the original. It's got the center hole for the 7-inch. I believe the coloring is the same, but this one says Splattered Records, so that is who released it. And this one also does not have any numbering on it, so with it being limited, there's no number stamped on it or a written number. And this was released in 2020. And I don't think this band released much else. I think there might have been one other single, but I don't remember them having released a full length. So look forward to listening to that also. Now, the next two I'm going to show are ones that I've had. I've had these for well over 10 years, but just kind of going along with that same theme. Two bands, kind of lesser known bands, even though this next one they came back and released an album maybe 10 years ago, somewhere within the last 10 years, and that is the band Burner, Hammer of the Gods. This kind of got the ball rolling for me looking for 7 inches, but not for new wave of British heavy metal, but not ones that were going to break the bank. So this was from High Roller Records. Once again, another re-release. This was released in 2007. And guys, oh man, the guys playing in the band, they look pretty young there. If they You can't imagine that they were even in their 20s yet. And then the last of the 7 inches, Tellurian, I believe is how you pronounce the name of this one. And the album, or the release, is called Reborn. And cool thing about this one was it is numbered. So this was a release of 500, and mine is number 252. And I believe this one is black. It is black vinyl, but thick for a 7-inch. It's not one of those thin, flimsy 7 inches, but it's got a little bit of weight to it. Pretty cool stuff. What you would expect from early 80s British bands. Good stuff. And it's kind of, see, now this is my first video. I'll show just a few 12 inches that I've gotten recently. Actually recently, just in the last couple of days. First few that I'm going to show are from my buddy Joe in Ohio. I get a lot of my 80s records from him. This one, Barren Cross, Rock for the King. Had this one on CD for a long time, but have been wanting a good copy on vinyl. Had the chance to see Mike Lee recently in the last year up in Nashville with his new band. And Jim Laverty, even though he's not done a lot with music recently, I've had the chance to hang out with him a few times. Great guy. Love this band. Been a fan of them since their second release, and glad to have that first full length. Smash Gladys. I've had their second release. I didn't even know about this one until recently. So this was a first release. The band actually had this pressed and released out of the UK. I don't think there was ever a US version of this. Unfortunately, Sally, the lead singer, passed away, I think just last year, a year or two ago. I believe she still lived up in New York. So, New York band, very glad to have that. This next one, I've had this on CD since it was released, but believe this is a UK press. I could be wrong. It might be a US pressing, but especially love Sailing Sails. Just awesome. Kind of reminds me of Zeppelin. Very different from the other tunes on here. Of course, Steve Vai's sound all over this album. And the cool thing about this one, you got a promo flat. So don't see those too often. And last, some 2 represses from a band that I've had a bunch of their CDs. Love this band from the US, but getting their studio albums on vinyl has been near impossible. They haven't released them. That's the problem. They've got a bunch of really good albums that just need to be put on vinyl. Well, this one, their first one, a couple of years back, was repressed on or pressed on vinyl for the first time and re-released on CD. So I've had the CD. This is Into the Void, hallucinogenic conception, but it also has their EP Continuum. So it's 2 vinyl, 2 records, double vinyl, gatefold. Glad to have this one on record. And then just this past week when I scored that one, I went on Discogs and come to find out that one of my favorites from them had been released, limited release, on black and red orange splatter, and just got this one in yesterday. Book of the Dead, haven't opened it up yet, but this one is red orange splatter, so look forward to giving that its first spin later. Especially love the first song, When 6 Was 9. just a very underrated band here in the States. I don't know, maybe they got a bigger following over in Europe. Wouldn't be surprised. They're still together. They've still, still releasing things. I believe their original singer's not currently with them, but they're still hanging in there and releasing records, and would love to be able to see them live at sometime in the future. Well, I don't know how many people are going to see this video, but if you did start out at the beginning and you're still here for the end, I appreciate you taking the time to listen and watch. And I don't know if I'll do another one. I guess if I get stuff that I think others might be interested in seeing. But once again, I really enjoy watching other people's videos and seeing their collection. So I'm sure there's some of you out there that will likewise just be interested, curious, and want to see what somebody else is sharing out. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend wherever you are, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch.